What it do? It's your boy L2, and you know I'm back doing the most, guys, with another mental health episode because I know I'm a Fortnite content creator. I'm a gamer. This is mainly a gaming channel, but if you read my YouTube bio, I am also a mental health advocate on a quest to cover as many mental health conditions as possible and help educate people in a nutshell on most mental health conditions. If I can get them all, I will while I'm alive. You know, no one's promised the next day. But we're talking about PTSD today. And it is a very complex condition. It can actually coincide and parallel with other conditions. It can mimic other conditions. But it's generally characterized by, and it develops after witnessing or experiencing a traumatic event, hence why it's called post-traumatic stress disorder. Post meaning after, stress, traumatic stress disorder. So it involves trauma, and this can happen. I want to preface real quick. Something can happen early in childhood, and this PTSD could wait to hit until your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, 50s, people that's been the war, and that's what I'm about to get into. People most likely and most susceptible to developing post-traumatic stress disorder are people that, this is off the rip, but I do have my research with me, and I am going to shoot some facts at you guys to help educate and just give you an idea of how many people it affects, both in the United States and globally, but people that have experienced military combat, sexual assault, and or abuse. And abuse can look more than just beating on somebody. It can be verbal abuse. It can be neglect during childhood development years. Physical assault or violence. We could all relate, maybe not all relate to that, but we may know somebody or know of somebody or have heard a story of somebody. Natural disasters is an obvious one too. Tornado rips through, hurricane rushes in, tears cities apart. Very traumatizing. Witnessing a death or injury, we don't want to see. That's our mortality is one of the biggest fears. The unknown is one of the biggest fears. So seeing somebody die that we love, or just somebody dying in general, if you have any sort of empathy or sympathy and you're not a psychopath, it could be traumatizing to watch somebody die or get injured really bad. Car accidents are very common. And this is not on Google, but self-inflicted in addiction, substance abuse addiction itself can be traumatizing for the person addicted and the loved ones and friends, family surrounding them. It can affect them and cause them to experience PTSD, otherwise known as post-traumatic stress disorder. But we're going to get into a few statistics. I didn't go too wild with it, but I always do want to kind of give some statistics to let you know how many people it affects, who it affects, who's most likely susceptible to it. Because I did give you a few, but I'm going to go a little deeper than that on who could be affected and why. About 7 to 8% of Americans, U.S. citizens, experience PTSD at some point in their life, and this equates to about roughly 10 million Americans at some point in their life. 10 million. Now you say, oh, that's not. Line up 10 million Americans. That's a ton of people suffering through this. Now here's the people that are at higher risk. So I gave you some examples, and some of them are going to be repeated, but I'm going to go elaborate a little more, and some were not. So women are more likely than men to suffer from PTSD. You can see why from the abuse side standpoint. And women are, well, it's debatable. Studies show that men are just as emotional as women, but women with their hormones, estrogen, more likely to display their emotions than men. And I said military at high risk. People that have seen other people, their comrades die or blow up in war. And if I want to preface, if you are experiencing PTSD, don't watch this episode or skip to halfway through where I get to the helping side of it if it's triggering. but somebody that's watched somebody die in war. I had a Vietnam vet I sat with and took care of for a little bit, and he had said a very profound statement to me that has stuck with me for probably 2 years, going on 2 years now. It's not about who's right in war; it's who's left. And I saw this grown man, this guy was in his 70s, break down in tears. And this was a hardcore man. You could see the weathered, seasoned face on him, and he broke down in tears talking about some of his situations that I'll keep confidential out of respect to his privacy. Sexual violence, that can go all the way to rape. I hate to say that word, but it's a reality, and it's sad that we live in this kind of world, man. And like I said, self-inflicted. And this can go back to childhood and not hit until you're of age. 20s, 30s, 40s. It may not hit until later on because the amygdala is still developing up until you're about 26, depending on the person. But that's the general age number. During COVID, so the 10 million adult thing, during COVID alone, it spiked 3 more million people. It went up to 13 million people in the U.S. alone. I did not look that up globally, but I wouldn't doubt if that went up to damn near 20 million globally experiencing PTSD. In the world, globally, though, it's affecting 3.9%. Or you can put it into numbers, 298 million globally are affected by PTSD. North America, though, what's crazy is we're first world. We got first world problems. Yet North America is, in the United States specifically, has the highest rates of PTSD. Is that not astounding, guys? We're one of the most developed countries for the most part. And we rank highest in North America in general, highest in PTSD diagnoses. Some things that I guess attribute to this: higher levels of violence in countries will have higher levels of PTSD, and then there's lower rates of PTSD in wealthier, more peaceful countries, which would lead me to say like Northern Europe, perhaps, maybe the Swiss, Norwegians, and then 7.8%. So this is in between that 7 and 8 for the U.S. are likely, and this is just across the world globally. This was not a U.S. Statistic. 7.8% are likely to develop PTSD at some point in their life. It may stick, it may not. But 7.8, we'll just give that a general rule of thumb. About 7.8% of people are affected by this at some point in their lives. This isn't an annual thing. I should have probably looked into the annual, but I think the numbers would have probably corresponded with these and been pretty close. So I trust the statistics and my sources. So you're asking, well, what does PTSD look like after trauma? So after you're experiencing some sort of trauma and it hits later, or that's what I'm saying. It can take time, and it can take time to heal, take time to develop, and time to heal. So you have to be patient. But so a lot of times, what people with PTSD will do, they'll re-experience symptoms, and it's terrible. So there's flashbacks. I'm going to give a little anecdotal experience myself. I think I'm undiagnosed PTSD because I have nightmares frequently here recently. In the past year, most of my nightmares, and anytime I dream, it usually is a nightmare. 9 times out of 10, I'll have nightmares of going to jail. And I've been to jail probably, I don't know, this is going to sound bad, but 7 to 9 times. That's more than anybody should go to jail. Well, every time I have a nightmare, I'm going to jail. And it's a terrible feeling. And when I wake up, it feels surreal. I'm like, I thought I was in jail, man. Like, what? And it really, it puts me in a bad place mentally for the day a lot of times. But, excuse me, burping. Had my coffee this morning, guys. But they re-experience symptoms. So they have intrusive thoughts or flashbacks of the event or events that happened, guys. That is insane, including, like I mentioned, nightmares, and even flashbacks throughout the day, which can lead people to act out aggressively. They can break out into sweats, have heart palpitations when they're reintroduced to this trauma or triggers to the trauma. Um, they have avoidance symptoms, man. So there's parts where they re-experience the trauma, and then where they're trying so hard to not experience the trauma, so they avoid thoughts and feelings or situations related to that trauma. And it may not even be directly related to the trauma, but it might lead to the trauma, if you know what I mean. So that's what a lot of people that experience this do. They avoid people, places, things, kind of like alcoholics do to stay away from the alcohol. They avoid things that bring the trauma back up, that keeps them back in a cycle of, how do you put it? We're just going to go through some of the things, man. They lose interest in activities and that they were once engaged in. They, like I said, it correlates with other mental health experiences, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. They have difficulty concentrating, making decisions. They're irritable. They can be irritable. They have outbursts of anger, which could be mistaken for a mood disorder. Hypervigilance, meaning that they always have their neck on a swivel. They're always hyper aware of their surroundings. Exaggerated startle response. They can be easily startled, like it could send them back to that moment in time where they were traumatized, or the multiple times. It may not just be a one event thing. It could have been something that happened over years and years. It doesn't, PTSD doesn't just fit into one box. Another group I did not mention that is affected, and I want to say this despite some people that may watch this and are subscribed to my channel, the LGBTQ plus community experiences this through body dysphoria, through feeling different, dissociation with their body and other people. If we're supposed to love everybody, guys, it includes that community, even if they're the hateful group, because not everybody a part of the LGBTQ plus, it's kind of hard to say, guys, is violent, is a part of this crazy movement, leftist movement. So I do want to include them because they are going through things too up in the head that we don't know about. So it's not our place to judge. It's our place to love. It's our place to help educate, and it's our place. It's our duty to help and try to help people out of their situation and not cram it back, shove them back into the pit, so to speak. Let's see what else I have. Mood changes. That's why I say it can be misdiagnosed with stuff like borderline personality. I can't hardly talk today. Borderline personality disorder, bipolar, multiple personality. I mean, it could be mistaken for a bunch of things. Doctors usually have to go through a myriad of medications, a myriad of tests, a myriad of diagnoses before they come up on PTSD. I actually have a book somewhere. It's called How to Unfuck Your Brain, and it really relates all of your problems to trauma. It says everybody goes through trauma. They just don't realize it. And I like the author. If I find the book, I'll try to leave it in the description. If not, there's a plethora of books out there, guys, for this. But yeah, dissociation, guilt, and shame can be a part of this. With military, it'd be like survivor's guilt. People suffering from PTSD will also may have difficulty with relationships because of this, suicidal thoughts or ideations, and changes in appetite. Now, it's our amygdala in our brain. It's the reptilian part of the brain that is trying our best to protect ourselves, is what it is. Our amygdala goes firing, sending adrenaline into the blood, forcing cortisol to raise, which is the stress hormone. Tightens the blood vessels. It messes with the endothelial cells, the cells that cause the blood vessel to widen and narrow. It can actually contribute to cancer because of stress and free radicals that weaken the immune system during high stress environments. Heart disease, diabetes, obesity. We could go on and on and on about this, guys. So please, 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 if somebody is suffering from PTSD, do not beat them over the head with it and add to what they've already been through. But we're going to get on the helping side of things, guys, and I'm going to try to make this video a little bit not as long, but they tend to be about the same length anyways, because I do want to help educate people, and I do want to tell people that you're not alone, man. I feel like I suffer from some PTSD. I have flashbacks of my addiction days and all the crazy things that I've been through, man. Just living with random people. I've seen people die. It is terrible to witness. I've been in car accidents. I've suffered trauma as a kid. Don't want to go through all of that with you guys, but I've definitely been a part of it, and I am on a medication to help me not have nightmares, even though I still do. It's not all the time, but like when I say that, when I do dream, it is about jail. And back in my addiction days, I've had drunk dreams, even where I'm drunk or going out to get drunk, and just crazy. Just you wouldn't imagine how these feel, because they feel real. They're very vivid dreams. I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but there is help, guys. So some of the help that I have researched, and some that just come from myself too as well. So it's kind of a mixture and a blend of both, of research and just my own self. I'm very studied. I'm not a doctor. The disclaimer real quick, I am not a doctor. Not your doctor, not my own doctor. I do not have a degree, although I am very well educated and I do my research. And this is PTSD in a nutshell. So I'm not going to cover everything. If you'd like to share your experiences, please do so in the comments below. But cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. So this is where therapists. So first step I'm going to say, go talk to a therapist or a psychologist, psychiatrist, any of those that work with, working on the mind and try to help you get through things. Cognitive behavioral therapy can change and challenge negative thoughts and negative thinking patterns and behaviors associated with the trauma. So they'll challenge your thoughts with this kind of therapy. It can help a lot, but like I said, it takes time. It's not just you go once and whoop, you're healed. Go on, you're cured, you're good. No, and there's another one. This was cool, and I actually learned a little more about this. EDMR, or eye movement desensitization, reprocessing. So they use eye movement or bilateral stimulation to help process and integrate traumatic moments and memories. I could see this working, because I'm going to add my little spill to it. I think psychedelic therapy with this would be very beneficial, specifically probably, and I don't condone the use of drugs necessarily, but psilocybin is coming back to the forefront of study. I think this EDMR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing, with a psychedelic, in a controlled environment with a medical professional, could be beneficial. You can do your own research on psychedelics and curing mental health illness. Psilocybin is one of the forefront runners in research currently undergoing right now, and it's showing very positive results. Now, I am a hippie, and I'm not going to say what I've done in the past, but I think psilocybin can be very beneficial for people. It is a therapy thing. It's not something you would abuse. It's something you would go to. There are certain places, I think, at least for ketamine, somewhere near us, I'm not going to disclose my location, that use ketamine therapy. But it's not for everybody, but it can help. But this is something you would have to go see some specialist for, and not just your average therapist in your hometown. Another one is prolonged exposure therapy, and this is kind of self-explanatory. The therapist might expose you or challenge you to expose yourself to fearful stimuli in a controlled environment. So to expose yourself to something that might be traumatizing to try to help desensitize or try to overcome it, because you can overcome it. You're not stuck in it. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it didn't fall in a day either. So if it's merely just a minute of feeling the feels, so to speak, um, that may help over time. So prolonged exposure therapy can help. Another one, which is an obvious, man, medication. And some people are against it. Some people are for it. I am definitely for medication if it helps. Now, if it doesn't, if the side effects are worse than your pre-existing condition, don't take the meds. Tell the doctor, no, try something else. But there are so many medications out there that one may work for you, and there are a ton. I'm not going to go through the medication list, but there's tons of medications out there to help people alleviate symptoms while they're undergoing therapy and treatment. Support groups is another good thing. Get around people that's been through similar scenarios, similar experiences, so you can discuss what you've been through openly without fear of judgment, rejection, uh, criticism from other people that can actually relate to your experiences and possibly provide positive feedback, advice, counsel that you can use to help better yourself and to get out of this. For self-care, mindfulness, meditation, you're going to hear this in probably every mental health episode. Sorry today, guys. I'm tired. Having my cup of coffee. I'm still sleepy and worn out. But yoga, man, there's a reason why the Hindu culture is so strong and heavily family oriented, and there's a sense of oneness within oneself and the community. Yoga, meditation, deep breathing exercises. These things can help bring yourself kind of a grounding experience. And the more you do, just like exercise, just like anything you do over and over repetitive, the effects of meditation, mindfulness will become easier, and the positive effects will become more profound. You'll find yourself in a calmer state of mind the more you meditate, the more you practice mindfulness, noticing things around you more and paying more attention to the little things versus getting lost in your mind, so to speak. Nutrition is another huge thing because PTSD sufferers can have changes in appetite. Eat a balanced diet, guys. In the day and age we live in, we're living in strange times where they put wild chemicals in our food. Stick to vegetables, meat, nuts, fish. Find something you like that's healthy. I know there's something healthy that you can enjoy to eat. I know the processed food tastes amazing, but there's a reason for that. Things that taste great usually aren't the greatest for you. Packed with trans fat, saturated fat, stuff that's terrible for your blood vessels, stuff that's gets rid of healthy bacteria in the gut. The gut-brain axis is real, so when your gut's not healthy, your brain may not be as well. Another one is kind of off-kilter and part of Eastern medication. I say medication, but therapy is acupuncture. They say acupuncture helps PTSD quite a bit. I've never tried it, but hey, it is an option out there, and there are people that do it, and it's coming around to the States to be more common in bigger cities, but it's coming around. But again, I encourage people to challenge negative thoughts, negative thinking patterns. Process your trauma with a trusted individual. It's never good to just live with it. Process it, go through it, face it. Some point you're gonna have to face it, or you're gonna always live with this trauma, and it's going to be a repetitive cycle on a hamster wheel. You have to eventually process through it and get past it. Whoop the amygdala's ass. Tell the amygdala, not today. Real talk. I mean, the amygdala is the reason behind this. It's the emotion center. It sends out wild signals, the fight or flight response, or freeze. There's 3, guys. Another one you can do to help is avoid triggers. If things are triggering your PTSD symptoms, stay away from them. Until you're ready, stay away from them. If it takes all your life, that's fine too. Do what's best for you, man, and woman, and of any gender. Avoid triggers at all costs if it is exhausting your mental health. I'm not against that at all. And be patient, like I said earlier. Be patient and persistent. Man, telling you, it's not going to happen overnight. Your PTSD symptoms are not just going to clear up in a week. It takes work. It's going to take work on your end, or somebody you know. So don't give up on them. Patience is a virtue, guys, and persistence as well. And your healing journey, everyone that has PTSD, the healing journey is going to look different for everyone. There's no one person that has PTSD that looks the exact same as the next person that lives down the road from them. They might live in the same town, but they went through something totally different, or they went through the same exact thing, but they experienced totally different symptoms. They display different behaviors and stuff. So I encourage those that suffer from PTSD, I believe, including myself, to be of good cheer and don't give up. I know it's hard. The flashbacks can feel more vivid than reality and real life itself. But try to take some of the things that I said into account, and please talk with a therapist or someone that you love and trust. And it's okay to seek medical professional help. It is. I actually implore you to, because they know they go to school for this. They study it. They study people, and they're out there. Good doctors are out there for help and to help people. So I encourage you to seek professional medical advice and help, because it's okay to not be okay in these type of situations, because PTSD is one of those conditions that develop over time, hence the post word, and it takes time, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. I am also a thriller fiction author on top of a painter, artist, content creator, among many other things. I cut trees, bushes, but I do sell thriller fiction novels. If you're interested, links will be down in the description below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to cover every mental health condition possible, and subtypes and what would you call it? I guess, genres within the mental health community, like the one I did with self-care and toxic environments. Yeah, self-care and toxic environments. That's another episode I did that didn't particularly talk about a mental health condition, but how to take care of yourself in toxic environments. And yeah, with PTSD, you're gonna have to watch out for toxic environments, because that may have stemmed from your PTSD and why you have it. You may have been in a toxic environment for way too long, and now you're trying to recover from it. So appreciate you guys for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment of your experience if you feel comfortable. I'd love for discussion. I'd love discussion with other people that have experienced PTSD, that are currently going through it. I'm here to talk. And again, disclaimer, I am not a medical professional, but I do feel obligated to educate the public the best that I can with the knowledge that I have, to help people become more aware of others and have empathy, sympathy at the very least, and to be willing and able to help other people suffering from these mental health disorders that I am going through on my YouTube channel. I'm here to help, like I said. Appreciate you guys. You already know O2 does the most. I will see you guys in the next mental health episode. Over and out, baby. Let's go.